The boardroom doors felt like the gates to hell. I squeezed Yeonhee's hand one last time before we stepped through, together, into the room where her father's killers waited. They were already seated when we walked in. 5 men in expensive suits arranged around a mahogany table like judges at an execution. James Sterling, at the head, silver hair, cold eyes, the smile of a man who'd never lost. Michael Park. To his right, Jiwon's father, watching us with the same calculating expression his daughter wore. 3 others I didn't recognize, but their faces said enough. We were the problem they'd gathered to eliminate, and Jiwon, standing behind her father's chair like a loyal daughter, like she hadn't sent us death threats, like she hadn't tried to destroy us. She smiled when she saw me. I wanted to rip it off her face. "Miss Choi, I'm Miss Lee." Sterling's voice was silk over steel. "Please, sit." Yeonhee didn't move, just stood there in her black blazer and perfect composure, the Ice Queen fully armed. "We'll stand." Sterling's smile tightened. "As you wish. Let's get straight to business, then. You're here to address allegations of sexual harassment, abuse of power, fraudulent hiring practices." Yeonhee's voice cut through his, like a blade. "Yes, we're aware of the charges, all fabricated, all traceable to one source." Her eyes locked on Jiwon. Park Jiwon, senior architect, my ex-colleague, and the woman who's been sabotaging Sterling projects for the past 6 months to frame me. Jiwon's smile didn't waver. "That's a serious accusation, Yeonhee. Do you have proof?" "Actually, yes." Yeonhee pulled out a tablet, set it on the table, and pressed play. By security footage appeared, time-stamped, date-stamped, undeniable. Jiwon accessing restricted servers, downloading project files, meeting with representatives from competing firms, transferring money into offshore accounts. The room went silent. "This footage," Yeonhee continued, voice perfectly calm, "shows systematic corporate espionage, theft of intellectual property, bribery, all conducted by Miss Park over the past 18 months. Michael Park's face went white. Where did you get this?" "Sterling's own security system, which ironically Miss Park thought she'd erased." Yeonhee's smile was sharp. She missed the backup server. I watched Jiwon's mask crack. Just a fraction. Just enough to see the panic beneath. "This proves nothing," she said quickly. Those files could be doctored like the screenshots you sent Somin." Yeonhee pulled out her phone. "The ones claiming I took a bet to seduce her? The ones you fabricated using deepfake technology and burner accounts?" She swiped to another screen, showed the metadata, the digital fingerprints leading straight back to Jiwon's personal devices. "I have the original message threads, the real conversations, time-stamped communications proving you manufactured evidence to destroy both our careers." Jiwon's hands clenched. "You can't prove—" "I can prove everything." Yeonhee's voice dropped, dangerous, "including your connection to the people who killed my father." The temperature in the room plummeted. Sterling stood slowly. "Miss Choi, that's enough." "Is it?" Yeonhee didn't back down. "Because I have his files, Mr. Sterling. All of them. Every document he compiled before he died. Every financial record, every email, every piece of evidence proving you and your partners used the Kingston project to launder money from illegal overseas investments." She pulled the USB drive from her pocket, set it on the table like a grenade. 23 years of evidence, all encrypted, all backed up, all ready to go to the FBI the second I walk out of this room. Sterling's composure cracked. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" Yeonhee opened a file on the tablet. "Here's the partnership agreement from 1998. Your signature, my father's, Robert Chen's, Michael Park's, all agreeing to invest in the Kingston waterfront development." She swiped. "Here's the wire transfer from a shell corporation in the Cayman Islands. $15 million. dated 3 months before construction began. Swipe. Here's the email thread where my father threatened to expose you. June 2010. Swipe. And here's the police report filed after his body was found in the East River. Ruled accidental drowning despite evidence of blunt force trauma to the back of his skull. Her voice shook, just slightly. My father didn't drown. You murdered him, and I'm going to prove it. Sterling's eyes were ice. You have no idea what you're dealing with. I know exactly what I'm dealing with. Yeonhee stepped closer. Corrupt developers who kill anyone who threatens their empire. Men who have spent 20 years covering up murder, who infiltrated this company, who hired your partner's daughter. She gestured to Jiwon, to keep watch on me, to make sure I never found the truth. Michael Park stood. This is slander. It's facts. Yeonhee's voice was steel. Jiwon didn't sabotage the Kingston project out of jealousy. She did it because you ordered her to. Because the project sits on land my father owned. Land that holds evidence of your crimes. And you needed it buried. I watched Jiwon's face. Saw the truth written there. That's why you fabricated the harassment charges, Yeonhee continued. Why you tried to turn Somin against me. You needed us distracted, fighting each other instead of looking at you. She turned back to Sterling. But we found it anyway. And now the choice is yours. Resign quietly, dissolve the partnerships, return the stolen money, or I release everything to the FBI, the press, and every news outlet in New York. Silence. Then Sterling laughed. Cold, empty. You think you can threaten us? Walk in here with stolen files and accusations and expect us to surrender? He leaned forward. Your father made the same mistake. He thought he could expose us. Look where that got him. My blood ran cold. Yeonhee went completely still. You're admitting it. I'm stating facts. Sterling's smile was a blade. Your father was a liability. We handled it, just like we'll handle you. He pressed a button on the table intercom. Security. Please escort Miss Choi and Miss Lee from the building, permanently. The doors opened, but it wasn't security. It was 2 men in suits I didn't recognize, federal badges clipped to their belts. James Sterling? The first agent stepped forward. FBI. You're under arrest for conspiracy, money laundering, and accessory to murder. The room exploded. Sterling lunged for the tablet. Michael Park tried to run. Jiwon screamed something I couldn't hear over the chaos. But Yeonhee just stood there, perfectly calm, and pressed a button on her phone. The tablet screen changed. Live feed, streaming to the FBI server. Every word, every confession, every damning second recorded and uploaded in real time. I told you I had backups, she said quietly. Sterling's face twisted with rage as the agents cuffed him. You little... My father's name was David Choi, Yeonhee interrupted, voice clear and strong. He was a good man. A better architect than you'll ever be, and you killed him because he had the courage to do what was right. She picked up the USB drive. This is for him. The agents led Sterling away, Michael Park next. The other board members followed, all shouting for lawyers, all denying everything. Kyo Jiwon stood frozen, staring at me with something like hatred. You ruined everything, she hissed. No, I stepped closer. You did that yourself. An agent approached her. Park Jiwon, you're wanted for questioning regarding corporate espionage and conspiracy charges. She left without another word. And then it was just us, me and Yeonhee, standing in the empty boardroom, surrounded by overturned chairs and the wreckage of an empire. She turned to me, her mask finally, completely gone. Is it over? I whispered. She pulled me into her arms, held me so tight I could barely breathe. The legal part, just beginning. The FBI will need statements, evidence, testimony. She pulled back, cupped my face. But the part where we run, where we hide, where we're afraid? She kissed me. Soft, real, free. That part's over. I kissed her back, tasting salt, tears, I didn't know whose, and something that felt like relief and grief and triumph all at once. We'd won. Her father's killers were in handcuffs. The truth was out. Justice was finally... Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered, still holding me. Hello? A woman's voice. Familiar, terrifying. Congratulations, Miss Choi. You exposed the partners. Got your revenge. Very impressive. Yeonhee went rigid. Who is this? Someone who's been watching you for a very long time. Someone who knows what else is on that drive. A pause. The partners weren't the only ones involved in your father's murder. They were just the ones stupid enough to get caught. My heart stopped. There's a reason your father encrypted those files. A reason he never told you everything. The voice dropped. Because the real conspiracy, the one that goes all the way to the top, that's still out there, still watching, still waiting. What are you talking about? Yeonhee demanded. Check your email. The one your father sent you the day he died. The one you never opened because you were too young to have an account. I don't have. Your mother does. He sent it to her. She never told you. Never knew what it contained. But it's there, waiting. The line went dead. Yeonhee stared at her phone, face white. What is she talking about? I asked. I don't know. Her hands were shaking. But if there's another email, if my father left something else. She was already dialing, her mother. I heard the ring, once, twice. A voice I didn't recognize answered, older, tired. Yeonhee? Mom, I need you to check your email. From June 2010. From Dad. Silence. Then, sweetheart, I told you. I deleted everything from that time. It was too painful. Check the trash folder, please. It's important. More silence. The sound of typing. Then her mother's sharp intake of breath. Oh my God. What? What is it? There's a video file from your father. Set the morning before he... Her voice broke. I never saw this. I never knew. Send it to me, now. 30 seconds later, Yeonhee's phone chimed. We opened the file together. Her father appeared on screen. Younger, alive, terrified. Yeonhee, if you're watching this, I'm already gone. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you. He glanced over his shoulder, nervous. The partners, Sterling, Park, Chen. They're not the real threat. They're pawns. The real power behind the Kingston project is... The video cut to static, then back. But the image was corrupted, distorted, the audio garbled. We caught fragments. Government connections. Senator. If they find out, you know... Then nothing. Video file corrupted, unrecoverable. Yeonhee stared at the screen, breathing hard. There's more, I whispered. There's something bigger, something we missed. She looked at me, eyes wide, terrified. We just took down 5 men, exposed a 20-year conspiracy, got justice for my father. And someone just told us we only scratched the surface. Her phone buzzed, text message, unknown number, you won the battle. But the war? That's just beginning. Watch your back, Ice Queen. They're coming for you both. Below it, a photo of us in the boardroom, taken from inside the room. Someone had been watching the entire time. Someone who walked away free. Yeonhee grabbed my hand. We need to go, now. Where? Somewhere they can't find us. Somewhere we can figure out who... The lights cut out. Emergency power kicked in. Red lighting flooded the boardroom. And in the doorway, backlit by the glow, stood a figure, watching us. Yeonhee pulled me behind her. Who are you? She demanded. The figure stepped forward, into the light, and I stopped breathing, because I recognized that face. It was impossible, unthinkable, but there she stood, alive. The woman standing in the doorway wore my mother's face, but my mother was in Abuja, 3,000 miles away, wasn't she? Somin. The voice was wrong, too smooth, too controlled. You should sit down. Yeonhee's arm tightened around me. Who are you? The woman stepped fully into the red emergency lighting, and I saw the differences now. Same face, same build. But the eyes were sharper, the posture commanding in a way my gentle mother never was. I'm Dr. Hannah Lee, she said. Somin's aunt, though I suspect she's never mentioned me. My knees went weak. I had an aunt? My mother never, I started. Your mother doesn't know I'm here. She doesn't know about any of this. Hannah's gaze shifted to Yeonhee. Miss Choi, your father and I worked together, briefly, before he died. Yeonhee's hand found mine, squeezed. You knew my father. I was the federal prosecutor assigned to his case, the money laundering investigation, the one that mysteriously disappeared from the docket 3 days after he went to the police. Hannah pulled out a badge. Real, current. FBI, Financial Crimes Division. I've been investigating Sterling and his partners for 15 years. The room spun. Your FBI? I managed. Undercover, deep cover. So deep even my sister doesn't know. She looked at me with something like regret. I'm sorry, Somin, for staying away, for never being part of your life. But if Sterling's people had known we were connected, they would have used me against you. I finished, numb. Yes. Yeonhee stepped forward. The phone call, the video, that was you. I needed you to find that email. Needed you to understand the scope of what you're dealing with. Hannah pulled out a tablet, brought up files I recognized. The ones from Yeonhee's USB drive. Your father sent me copies before he died. Insurance, he called it. But the encryption was military grade. I've been trying to crack it for years. And? Yeonhee's voice was ice. And you did it in 30 seconds with a birthday. Hannah almost smiled. He always said you were smarter than him. What's on the rest of the files? I asked. The corrupted video mentioned a senator. Government connections. Hannah's expression darkened. Senator Richard Morrison, head of the Senate Banking Committee, the man who's been protecting Sterling's operation for 2 decades, the one who made evidence disappear, witnesses recant, investigations close. She swiped through images. A Morrison shaking hands with Sterling, Morrison at construction sites, Morrison signing documents. He's the real power behind the Kingston project. Sterling and the others are just his investment vehicles. Morrison takes their laundered money, funnels it into political campaigns, and in return he buries anything that threatens their operation. Yeonhee's face went white, including my father. Your father was going to testify. He had evidence that would have destroyed Morrison's career, maybe even sent him to prison. Hannah's voice softened. Morrison couldn't allow that. So he gave the order, Sterling carried it out, and for 15 years, I've been building a case to prove it. Why tell us now? I asked. Because you just handed me the final piece, that USB drive. The files your father encrypted. The evidence I needed to connect Morrison directly to the conspiracy. She looked at Yeonhee. With your testimony and those files, we can finally bring him down. What do you need? Yeonhee asked immediately. You, in protective custody. Both of you. Until the trial. Hannah's tone was firm. Morrison knows you have the evidence now. He'll send people, professional people, the kind who don't fail. My stomach dropped. You mean? I mean you're both targets. High value, high risk. Hannah's eyes met mine. I'm sorry, Somin. I know this isn't the reunion you deserved. But if I don't get you somewhere safe in the next hour, Morrison will make sure you disappear, the way David Choi did. Yeonhee's hand trembled in mine. How long? Protective custody? Months, maybe longer. Depends on how fast we can move the case through the system. Hannah stepped closer. I know what I'm asking. Your lives, your careers, your freedom. But it's the only way to keep you alive, long enough to testify. And if we say no? Yeonhee asked quietly. Hannah didn't answer. She didn't have to. The silence said everything. Yeonhee looked at me. Really looked. And I saw the war happening behind her eyes. I need a minute, she said, with Somin, alone. Hannah nodded. You have 5. Then we move, whether you're ready or not. She stepped outside, closed the door, and we were alone in the red-lit boardroom where everything had changed. Yeonhee's composure cracked. I can't ask you to do this. You're not asking, I'm choosing. Somin, her voice broke. Protective custody means disappearing. New identities. No contact with anyone from your old life. Your mother, your friends. Everything you know. Gone. I know. You'd give that up? For me? For a case that might take years? I cupped her face, forcing her to see me. I'd give up everything. For you, for justice, for your father. You shouldn't have to, but I want to. I kissed her. Soft, sure. You spent 12 years alone, searching for the truth. You don't have to do this part alone, not anymore. Tears slipped down her cheeks. Real ones. The kind she'd never let anyone see. I'm terrified, she whispered, of losing you, of something happening to you because of choices I made. Then we're even. Because I'm terrified of losing you too. I brushed the tears away with my thumbs. But I'm more terrified of living without you, of running, of letting them win. She pulled me close, buried her face in my neck. I love you, she breathed against my skin. I should have said it sooner. Should have told you every day since the elevator. But I was afraid. I know. I held her tighter. I love you too. That's why we're doing this. Together. She kissed me then. Desperate and tender and tasting like salt and goodbye and beginning all at once. When we broke apart, she rested her forehead against mine. Okay, we do this. We testify. We finish what my father started. Her hands framed my face. But after, when it's over, we build something new, something ours, something they can't touch. Promise? Promise. The door opened. Hannah stood there, urgent. Time's up. We need to move. Now. Yeonhee grabbed the USB drive, took my hand, and we followed Hannah into the hallway. The building was chaos. FBI agents everywhere, evidence boxes being loaded, employees being questioned. We made it to the elevator when Hannah's phone rang. She answered, listened, went pale. When? How many? A pause. Understood. Get everyone out. Now. She hung up, turned to us. Morrison knows. He sent a team. They're in the building. My heart stopped. What kind of team? The kind that doesn't leave witnesses. Hannah pulled a gun from her jacket. Stay behind me. Don't stop moving. If I tell you to run, you run. We got into the elevator. Hannah pressed the parking garage button. The doors closed. We descended in silence. Yeonhee's hand crushing mine. Hannah's jaw tight. Gun ready. Floor 40, 39, 38. On floor 20, the elevator stopped. Not our floor. Not a floor we'd selected. The doors opened. A man stood there. White suit. Earpiece. Hand reaching inside his jacket. Hannah fired. The sound was deafening in the enclosed space. The man dropped. Go! Hannah shoved us out into the hallway. Stairs! End of the hall. Don't stop. We ran. Behind us, more gunshots. Shouting. Chaos. Yeonhee pulled me through a door marked emergency exit. We hit the stairwell running, taking steps 2 at a time, my lungs burning, her hand the only thing keeping me upright. Floor 15, 10, 5. Footsteps above us. Heavy, fast, gaining. Faster, Yeonhee urged. We burst into the parking garage. Hannah's car was there, engine running, driver's door open. Get in. Hannah appeared behind us, blood on her sleeve, face grim. Back seat, now. We dove in. She gunned the engine. Tires screamed as we peeled out, just as 2 more men appeared, weapons raised. Bullets pinged off the car. The back window shattered. Yeonhee threw herself over me, shielding my body with hers. "Stay down," Hannah shouted, weaving through traffic, running red lights, driving like the professional she was. 5 minutes of terror. Then silence. We were on the highway, clear, safe, for now. Hannah pulled into an abandoned warehouse district, killed the engine. "Everyone okay?" "Define okay," Yeonhee muttered, still covering me. I pushed her off gently, checked her for injuries. "Are you hurt?" "No, you." "Terrified." "But not hurt." Hannah turned in her seat. "Morrison's scared. He's making moves, sloppy ones, that's good for us. Bad for you." "What now?" I asked. "Safe house, remote location, full security detail." She started the car again. "You're officially ghosts until the trial. No contact with anyone, no phone calls, no internet, nothing." Yeonhee's hand found mine again. "How long?" "As long as it takes." Hannah met her eyes in the rearview mirror. "I'm sorry. I know this isn't the life you wanted, but it's the only way to keep you breathing long enough to testify." We drove in silence. An hour later, we pulled up to a cabin in the woods. Middle of nowhere. Guards posted, safe, prison. Hannah walked us inside, showed us the rooms, the security system, the rules. "I'll be back when we're ready to move forward with the case," she said at the door. "Until then, stay alive, stay hidden, stay together." She left, and then it was just us, in a safe house that felt like a cage, with nothing but time and fear in each other. Yeonhee walked to the window, stared out at the trees. We did it," she said quietly. "We exposed them, started the process, got justice for my father. But," I came up behind her, wrapped my arms around her waist. "But I don't feel victorious. I feel—" She stopped, trapped, like we traded one prison for another. "Hey," I turned her to face me. "We're alive. We're together. That's something." She kissed my forehead. "You're right. I wanted the ending to feel different. Less like hiding, more like winning." "We haven't reached the ending yet." She smiled, tired but real. "No, I suppose we haven't." We stood there as darkness fell outside, holding each other, pretending the guards and guns and isolation didn't exist, pretending we were just two women in love, not witnesses in a case that could topple a senator, not targets with prices on our heads. Just us. 3 days passed, quiet, tense, waiting. On the 4th day, Hannah returned. Her face was ashen. "What happened?" Yeonhee asked immediately. Hannah sat down heavily. "Morrison's lawyers got the case dismissed. Insufficient evidence. The files from your father's USB drive. The judge ruled them inadmissible. Fruit of the poisonous tree, obtained through illegal means." My world tilted. "What?" "Without those files, we have nothing. No case, no leverage." Hannah looked at Yeonhee. "I'm sorry. We lost." Yeonhee went completely still. "So he walks free." "For now. We're appealing, looking for other angles. But it could take years to build another case." "And until then?" I asked. "Until then, you're still targets. Morrison knows you tried to expose him. He won't forget, won't forgive." Hannah's voice was heavy. "You can stay here, under protection, indefinitely. Or what? Or you disappear, witness protection, new lives, new names, you vanish and never come back." Yeonhee turned to me, eyes full of pain and rage and defeat. "I can't ask you." "You're not asking." I took her hands. "We decide together. Whatever comes next, we face it together." She pulled me close, buried her face in my hair, and I felt her shake, not from fear, from fury, because we'd won the battle and lost the war. Hannah left us alone to decide. As the door closed, Yeonhee's phone, the burner Hannah had given us, buzzed. "Unknown number." She answered. Morrison's voice filled the room, smooth, victorious. Miss Choi, I hear you're having a difficult week. Yeonhee's jaw clenched. What do you want? To offer you a choice. Disappear quietly, take your girlfriend, start over somewhere, I'll never find you, and I'll let you live. And if we refuse, then I'll make sure your father's death looks like a mercy compared to what happens to you both. Silence. You have 24 hours to decide. Vanish or die. The line went dead. Yeonhee stared at the phone, then looked at me. Tell me what you're thinking, I whispered. I'm thinking. Her voice was raw. I'm thinking we run. We take Hannah's offer, witness protection, new names, new lives, far away from here. And Morrison wins. Morrison's already won. She gripped my shoulders. But I don't care anymore. I care about keeping you alive. Keeping us alive. That's all that matters now. I saw it in her eyes. Defeat, surrender. The Ice Queen had finally melted. And all that was left was a woman who'd lost everything trying to save me. Okay, I whispered. We run. She kissed me. Desperate, grateful, broken. And I knew. This was our ending. Not the one we wanted, but the one we'd survive. We'd tell Hannah in the morning, start the process, disappear into new lives, leave everything behind. As we fell asleep tangled together, I heard Yeonhee whisper one last thing. I'm sorry, Dad. I tried. I woke to an empty bed. Cold sheets. No Yeonhee. Panic seized me. I ran through the cabin, kitchen, bathroom, living room, empty. On the table, a note in her handwriting. I love you. That's why I have to do this alone. Morrison wants me, not you. So I'm giving him what he wants. I'm turning myself in, trading my life for yours. By the time you read this, and Hannah will have you in witness protection, safe, free, alive. Don't come after me. Don't try to save me. Just live. For both of us, you taught me how to feel, how to love, how to be human. Thank you for that. Goodbye, Somin. The world stopped. She was gone. She'd sacrificed herself. For me. I grabbed my phone, called Hannah. Somin, what's wrong? Yeonhee's gone. She's turning herself over to Morrison. You have to stop her. I can't. She's already there. My knees gave out. What? She called Morrison an hour ago. Made a deal. Her testimony buried. Her silence guaranteed. In exchange for your safety. No, she can't. She already did. Hannah's voice was gentle. I'm sorry, Somin. She made her choice. The phone slipped from my hands. She was gone. The woman I loved. The Ice Queen who'd melted for me. Gone. And I was alone. Safe. Free. Alive. And completely, devastatingly broken. Hannah said Yeonhee made her choice. But she forgot one thing. I make my own choices too, and I chose to fight. I didn't cry, didn't collapse, didn't do any of the things a broken heart was supposed to do. Instead, I picked up the phone, called Hannah back. Where is she? Somin, you need to let this go. Where is she? Silence. Then quietly, Morrison's estate, private compound upstate. But you can't give me the address. Somin, she sacrificed herself for me. You think I'm just going to accept that? Let her trade her life for mine and walk away? My voice was steel. I'm going to get her back, with or without your help. Another pause. Longer this time. You understand what you're asking. Morrison has private security, armed guards, cameras. You're one person with no training, no weapons. I know I have something better. I looked at the USB drive still sitting on the table. I have the truth, and I have nothing left to lose. Hannah exhaled. You're just like her, you know that? Is that a compliment? It's a warning. Keys clicked on her end. I'm sending you coordinates. And a contact. Someone who owes me a favor. He can get you inside. But after that, you're on your own. I don't need backup. I just need a chance. Somin. Her voice softened. She did this because she loves you. Because she wanted you safe. I know. That's why I'm going to save her. So we can both be safe. Together. I hung up. 3 hours later, I was standing outside Morrison's compound with a man named Marcus, who'd handed me a security uniform and a fake ID. "You've got 15 minutes before shift change," he said. "After that, you're blown. Get in, get her, get out. And if I can't, then you both die. Simple as that." He checked his watch. "Clock starts now." I walked through the gate, head down, confident, like I belonged. The guards barely glanced at me. Inside, the house was massive, cold, sterile, like Sterling's office, but worse. I found her in the basement, a room that looked like an office but felt like a cell. Glass walls, locked door, and Yeonhee sitting at a desk, signing papers with hands that trembled. Morrison stood over her, watching, victorious. I didn't think. Just pulled the fire alarm Marcus had given me and threw it through the glass wall. The sound was deafening. Sirens blared. Guards rushed toward the noise. And in the chaos, I grabbed Yeonhee's hand and ran. "Somin." Her voice was shock and horror and hope. "Oh, what are you? You can't be here. Shut up and run." We made it to the service exit. Marcus was waiting with a car. "Go, now." We dove in. He floored it. Behind us, gunfire, shouting. Morrison's voice screaming orders. But we were gone. Speeding down back roads, away from the compound, away from Morrison, away from everything. Yeonhee turned to me, face pale. "You idiot. You beautiful, reckless idiot. Do you have any idea what you just did?" "Saved you. You put yourself in danger. Morrison will come after you now. After both of us. You threw away the deal, the safety, everything I sacrificed." "I don't care." I grabbed her face. "You don't get to decide to die for me. You don't get to make that choice alone. We're in this together, remember?" Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I was trying to protect you." "I know. And I love you for it. But I don't need protection. I need you. Alive, fighting, with me." She kissed me then. Hard and desperate, and tasting like freedom and fear. When we broke apart, Marcus cleared his throat. "Hate to interrupt, but we've got a problem. Morrison's people are tracking us. We've got maybe an hour before they find us." "Then we go to the FBI, Yeonhee said. Hannah can't do anything. The case is dead. The evidence inadmissible." I pulled out the USB drive. But what if there was another way? Yeonhee looked at the drive, then at me. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking the files got thrown out because they were obtained illegally. But what if we had new evidence? Something Morrison doesn't know about." "There is no new evidence." "Yes, there is." I opened my phone. Showed her the recording app. "I'm still running. I've been recording everything since the boardroom. Hannah's confession, Morrison's phone call, the threats, the deal you made, everything." Yeonhee's eyes widened. "That's admissible. Because it's my phone, my recording, legally obtained." I looked at Marcus. "Can you get us to a news station? Somewhere public? Somewhere Morrison can't touch us?" He grinned. "I know just the place." 2 hours later, we walked into Channel 7 News with a USB drive, a recording, and a story that would burn Morrison's world to the ground. The anchor, a woman named Patricia Kim, listened to everything, watched the files, heard the recordings, then looked at us with something like awe. "If I air this, Morrison will come after all of us. You understand that?" "Yes," Yeonhee said, "but he's already coming. At least this way. Just the truth gets out first." Patricia smiled. Sharp, dangerous. "I've been waiting 15 years for a story like this. Let's destroy him." The broadcast went live at 6 p.m. By 7, it had gone viral. By 8, the FBI had reopened the case. By 9, Morrison was in handcuffs, screaming about lawsuits and lies and conspiracy, while cameras caught every second. And by 10, Yeonhee and I were sitting in Hannah's office, exhausted and alive and victorious. You two are either the bravest people I've ever met, Hannah said, or the most reckless. Can't we be both? I asked. She almost smiled. The case is back on. With your recordings and the public pressure, the judge has no choice but to proceed. Morrison's going to trial, and this time he won't walk. What about Jiwon? Yeonhee asked. And the others? Jiwon's cooperating. I gave up everything in exchange for a reduced sentence. Sterling and Park are looking at 20 years minimum. Hannah leaned back. You did it, both of you. Justice for your father, safety for yourselves, and you exposed one of the most corrupt operations in New York history. Yeonhee's hand found mine under the table. What happens now? I asked. Now? You live. Build the life Morrison tried to take from you. Hannah stood. The trial will take months. You'll have to testify, face cross-examination, relive everything. But after that, you're free. We left her office as the sun set over the city. Manhattan spread out before us. Glittering. Beautiful. Ours. We should probably find somewhere to stay, Yeonhee said. My apartment's not safe. Yours either. Hotel? For now, until the trial ends. She stopped, turned to face me. And after? After, we build something new. Something ours. I stepped closer. Maybe a small firm, just us, designing libraries and community centers, and all the things your father would have loved. Her smile was soft, real. I'd like that. Me too. We stood there, on the sidewalk, while the city moved around us, and for the first time in months, I felt something I'd almost forgotten. Hope. Somin? Yeah? Thank you. For not giving up on me. For coming back. For... Her voice caught. For teaching me that love doesn't have to be a battlefield. That letting someone in doesn't mean losing control. I pulled her close. You taught me I'm stronger than I thought. That I don't have to accept the life someone else chooses for me. That I can fight. She kissed me, slow and sweet and tasting like beginning. When we broke apart, she whispered, I love you. I love you too. We walked toward the nearest hotel, hands intertwined, ready to face whatever came next. Together. 6 months later. The trial ended on a Tuesday. Morrison was convicted on all counts: conspiracy, money laundering, accessory to murder, sentenced to 40 years without parole. Sterling got 25, Park got 20, Jiwon got 7 with early release for cooperation, justice, finally, completely. Yeonhee and I stood outside the courthouse, reporters shouting questions, cameras flashing. She squeezed my hand. Ready? Always. We gave one statement, brief, honest. This was never about revenge. It was about truth. About making sure no one else loses their father the way I lost mine. About building a world where power doesn't equal immunity. Yeonhee's voice was clear, strong. We're architects. We build things. And today we helped build justice. The reporters loved it. By evening, we were trending. The Ice Queen and her unlikely partner. The women who took down a senator. But all I cared about was the quiet moment after. When we went back to the small apartment we'd been renting, where Yeonhee pulled me close and whispered, It's over. Really over. So what now? She smiled. Pulled out blueprints. Now we build our firm, Lee and Choi Architecture, specializing in community projects, libraries, schools, spaces that matter. I looked at the plans. Beautiful, thoughtful, everything her father would have designed. It's perfect. We start next month. After... She stopped, nervous. After one more thing. What thing? She dropped to one knee. My heart stopped. Somin. I know it's fast. I know we've only known each other 7 months. I know this is reckless and impulsive and everything the Ice Queen was never supposed to be. She pulled out a ring. Simple, elegant, but you melted every wall I built. You taught me how to feel, how to fight, how to live, and I don't want to spend another day without knowing you're mine. Officially, completely, forever. Tears blurred my vision. Are you... Marry me, please. Be my partner, in business, in life, in everything. I pulled her up, kissed her, deep and sure and tasting like yes. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. She slipped the ring on my finger, kissed me again. And somewhere, I like to think, her father was smiling. 1 year later, our firm opened to incredible press. Projects flooded in, communities that had been overlooked, finally getting the architecture they deserved. We got married in a small ceremony, just Hannah, my mother, Yeonhee's mother, and a handful of close friends. It was perfect. Life was perfect. Until the envelope arrived. Plain, unmarked, delivered to our office. Inside a single photograph of Yeonhee's father. Alive, taken 3 weeks ago. Below it, a note. He didn't drown, he disappeared. And now he wants to meet his daughter. If you're brave enough to learn the truth. Come alone, tell no one. Midnight, Kingston project site. A friend. Yeonhee stared at the photo, hands shaking. It's not possible, she whispered. I saw his body, the death certificate, What if it was faked? I grabbed her shoulders. What if he's been alive this whole time, hiding? Waiting. It's a trap. It has to be. Morrison's people. Someone trying to... Then we bring backup. Hannah, the FBI. The note says, come alone. We looked at each other, and I saw the same desperate hope in her eyes that was burning in my chest. What if he was alive? What if everything we thought we knew was wrong? We're going, aren't we? I said quietly. We're going. Midnight. Kingston project site. The place where it all began. We stood in the shadows, waiting, hearts pounding. A figure emerged from the darkness. Tall. Older. Wearing her father's face. Yeonhee's breath caught. Dad? He stepped into the light. Smiled. Hello, sweetheart. I'm sorry it took so long to come home. She ran to him, collapsed into his arms, sobbing. And I watched, heart-breaking and healing at once. But something felt wrong. Either way he held her, the way he looked at me, like he was calculating, measuring. How are you alive? Yeonhee pulled back, searching his face. I faked my death. Had to. Morrison would have killed me for real if I'd stayed. He touched her cheek. I've been watching you all these years, waiting for the right moment to come back. Why now? His smile shifted. Colder. Because you have something I need. The USB drive. The complete files. The ones with the offshore account numbers. The passwords. Yeonhee went still. What? I didn't encrypt those files to protect evidence, sweetheart. I encrypted them to protect my money. He stepped back. Morrison and the others were partners. But the real fortune? I hid it. Been waiting 12 years to access it. And you just handed me the key. My blood went cold. You're working with Morrison, I breathed. Was, until you got him arrested. Now I'm working for myself. He pulled a gun, pointed it at Yeonhee. Give me the drive, all the passwords, and maybe I'll let you both live. Yeonhee stared at him. Broken. You're not my father. I'm exactly your father. The one who taught you to win at any cost, who built an empire on other people's suffering. He cocked the gun. I just never told you what I was really building. Tears streamed down her face. I spent 12 years trying to avenge you, to finish what I thought you started. And you did, beautifully, took down my partners. Cleared the path for me to access the accounts without interference. He smiled. You were always so useful. She lunged. The gun fired. I screamed. But the bullet missed. Because Hannah's voice cut through the darkness. FBI, drop the weapon. Agents swarmed from every direction. He ran. They caught him within seconds, dragged him away, still screaming about money and betrayal and everything he'd hidden. Yeonhee collapsed. I caught her, held her while she shook. He's alive, she whispered, and he's a monster. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Hannah approached, face grim. We've been tracking him for months, suspected he faked his death, used your case to finally draw him out. You knew? Yeonhee's voice was hollow. Suspected. Couldn't prove it until tonight. Yeonhee looked up at me, eyes empty. Everything I believed, everything I fought for. It was all a lie. I held her tighter. No, you fought for justice, for truth. That wasn't a lie. My father. Your father was a criminal, but you're not. You're the woman who exposed corruption, who saved lives, who chose love over revenge. I kissed her temple. That's who you are, not him. She cried then, really cried, and I held her through it all, because that's what love was, not the fairy tale, the reality, the choice to stay when everything shattered, the choice to rebuild together. Epilogue. 3 years later, Lee and Choi Architecture just broke ground on our biggest project yet, the David Choi Memorial Library, named for the man Yeonhee thought he was, not the monster he became. She stood beside me at the ceremony, pregnant with our daughter, smiling as the mayor gave a speech about legacy and redemption. You okay? I whispered. Yeah. She squeezed my hand. I am. Because we'd survived, the betrayal, the danger, the truth. And we'd built something beautiful from the ashes. Our firm, our family, our future. The Ice Queen had melted completely. And what remained was just a woman, flawed, human, loved. As we walked away from the ceremony, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But something made her. A voice. Female. Familiar. Miss Choi, this is Special Agent Rivera. We have a situation. Your father's made a deal. He's willing to testify against Morrison's remaining network, but he'll only speak to you. Yeonhee's hand tightened on mine. Tell him I'm not interested. He says he has information about your mother, about things that happened before you were born, things you need to know. She looked at me. Question in her eyes. I shook my head. You don't owe him anything. I know, but... She paused. What if there's more? What if the truth is bigger than we thought? Then we face it. Together. She nodded. Brought the phone back to her ear. Fine. Set up the meeting, but Somin comes with me. Non-negotiable. A pause. Understood. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. Maximum security facility. The call ended. Yeonhee turned to me, fear and determination warring in her eyes. One more fight? She asked. I kissed her, soft, sure. One more fight, and then we're done. We go home, raise our daughter, build our empire. Deal. We drove home through the city that had tried to break us, the city we'd conquered. Together. And whatever her father had to say tomorrow, whatever new truth waited to shatter us, we'd face it the same way we'd faced everything else. Hand in hand, heart to heart, the Ice Queen and the girl who taught her to melt. Ready for one final battle, but this time on our terms.